Yeah, start.
Okay, great.
Hello and welcome to the Knowledge Catalyst. This is a platform where you maximize your learning potential with the power of networking and expert guides. We are the network of community where the opportunity and the background meets create the endless possibility. With over 17,000 members, we are a dynamic, diverse group of students from 70 plus colleges and backgrounds. Whether you are professionals or just starting with your career, Knowledge Catalyst, which is PracEdge, provides a space to learn from others. Share your experience and expand your horizon. I'm your host, Henry, and today we have a guest, Sagar. We're gonna Sagar is working at the MTS, Site Reliability Engineer at VMWare Software Entity Private Limited. He's an open source enthusiast, a firm believer of the power of community education. He has also mentored 5,000 plus students and professionals across the India for their career, job search, and open source and cloud native. And today we're going to talk about Sagar. What we're going to talk about today? Why don't you introduce them about the topic?
Okay, sure. Thank you for this nice introduction. Okay, I'll start. So today we are going to just give him 1 minute. I think I need to
Sure.
wait for.
Till there's Sagar comes back, let me introduce you to today's topic. Today we're going to talk about the cloud computing, virtual machines, what are how the cloud computing works, what are the DevOps, uh, things related to the cloud computing, what is uh, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, what are all those things, everything related to the cloud computing, what is AWS, what is Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, everything that is related to the cloud computing. We're going to talk about that. And if you do have any questions on our YouTube live, please drop it in the comment section. We also going to pick up the questions from the YouTube live. So please follow us there.
Actually, Pia is reconnecting. I think
Okay,
internet.
okay. Okay, no worries. We'll just wait till then.
Until then, you can continue with the practice clubs about telling people.
Yes, for our viewers, like who is watching on the YouTube live, you can continuously participate in the conversation. You can, if you do have any questions, you can, as I said before, you can drop in the comment section. We will take your questions and I do ask the Sagar as well. Also, you can follow our Instagram uh, and contact us there. If you do have any questions, you can also join our Discord channel where we are the community.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back,
Since
Sagar.
thank you. I'm facing some Microsoft Teams issue. I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible now?
Yeah, yeah, it is visible.
Okay, great. Thank you for nice introduction, Rahul, and thank you for hosting me. So today we are going to talk about cloud computing one-on-one. I'm your speaker, Sagar Utekar. I'm currently working at VMware Software India Private Limited as a site reliability engineer. So before going ahead, I just want to introduce myself and share a few things what I'm doing currently with all of you. I recently got promoted to next level, which is MTS 3, as a site reliability engineer, and I'm running community in Pune. I'm running Docker and CNCF Pune community. We host events, meetups every month to share our knowledge related to Docker and Sensei projects. We call out different speakers. We take workshops on Docker and Sensei projects. I'm more into open source. I've been doing open source since my college days, so it's been more than 5+ years. And I firmly believe in giving back to the community and community education for free. With that motive, I have mentored 5,000 plus students and professionals till now across India and over the globe, sharing my knowledge, how to get a job, how to get involved into open source, how to improve your profile, how to get involved into cloud native, DevOps, SRE, cloud, and all those things. Yes. I've been mentoring and administrating for Google Summer of Code program from past 3+ years. Last year, I got chance to work as a mentee as well to just, to understand the other side of the table, how I can be a mentee and getting that experience have been helping me to become a good mentor. So last year, I worked at a PCAM project as a Google Summer of Code 20. Apart from that, I teach and do certifications. I keep on learning new technologies related to DevOps. Sorry, I have done multiple certifications in Kubernetes. All certifications in Kubernetes: CKS, CK, CKAD, and KCNE. There are lots of these. All are well-known and hardest certifications, which are very important for any DevOps and cloud engineer, and I have done all those certifications. This is a hashtag and one of my initiative Get Fit with Sagar, through which I'm going to take DevOps and SRE training, paid training, and teaching students who wants to involve into DevOps or who wants to land a job into DevOps and SRE. I'll talk more about Get Fit with Sagar in the end if you get a time. That's pretty much about me. If you want to connect with me anytime, I'll share those links as well. Okay, let's get started. The burning topic, what is cloud? Uh, whenever someone asks 5 years or 10 years, boy or child asks, what is the cloud? This is a definition we can tell them. It's a cloud is not I mean not 5 or 10 years student will understand, but this is the simplest and the ideal definition for cloud. The cloud is not a physical entity, but instead it is a vast network of servers around the globe, which are hooked together, and we use those cloud resources using the internet. It can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't need to be physically present around your system or in your home or in your company. Those all those resources are connected, which makes a cluster. And to access those resources, you use the internet. So that's a basic definition I can say for cloud. These servers are designed to either store and manage the data or to run your any application. The application can be of anything, Node.js, Python, or Linux based application, or your Android application, anything. Uh, Yes, so you can stream videos like these, Microsoft Teams. You use the Google Drive, you use Gmail, LinkedIn. All those applications are hosted on cloud for the scalability and the high availability. All those features. Okay. Just to give a simple example, what cloud are, we are daily using cloud resources, and the resources or the applications which are hosted on the cloud, different cloud providers. Let's take an example of LinkedIn. We use the LinkedIn or the WhatsApp. Just think like 2.2 billion, or I don't know what's the exact user base they have for the LinkedIn and the WhatsApp, but you can imagine all over the world people are using LinkedIn and WhatsApp. So do you think it is possible to have those number of whatever the resources required to run that kind of big application they can have in LinkedIn office? No, right? They are using cloud. they are taking the resources which are required to run their application. They are using those resources, and whenever they don't need those resources, they simply give back to the cloud providers. So for the time period which we are using the cloud resources, we are going to pay only for that time. Uh, Yes. Instead of accessing files and data from your local or personal computer, you can save your data into Google Drive or S3 bucket or cloud storage. It will be very secure. You can encrypt the data, and you don't need to carry your mobile phone or the hard disk every time to access your data. You can access that data from anywhere, anytime, and unless and until you have the proper internet connection, you should be able to access your data if you have that stored in your cloud provider. Yes, so those are the basic features we can say for a cloud, or the basic definition for a cloud. What is the cloud computing? It's a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, and on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources. What does it mean? Cloud computing resources are, they are the cluster of networks, servers, storage, applications which are required to run your application. And you can quickly provision. You can ask for the cloud resources, and within a few seconds, you will get all those resources. Whenever um, you don't know need those resources, you can give back to the cloud provider, and they will charge only for whatever time you're using those resources. So it's that simple to use the cloud. Yes. Uh, when we say it is a cloud, cloud basically follows the five essential characteristics, which we are going to see later. And it is based on the three service models and the four deployment models. We are going to check that as well. So if you make a group of computers for your laptops, and if these essential characteristics and the service model or the deployment model is not followed by your uh, that POC, then that is not cloud. We are going to see how the major cloud providers are following these characteristics. Okay, so as you can see, cloud computing. Uh, the essential characteristics for the cloud computing. So the first essential characteristics for the cloud computing is a on-demand self-service. As I said, as a consumer of cloud service, you can provision the computing capabilities such as server, or you can ask for the network, you can ask for the disk uh, automatically or without any human intervention. You can use the CLI, you can use the dashboards and quickly provision all those resources on the cloud provider. So it is that simple. There are a lot many tools which will help you to automate all those resources. Just think from the perspective of the company, which needs the infrastructure of thousands of servers. It is not possible to buy hello, hello.
Hello, Sagar. Yes, you lagged for a bit, but now we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
keep on messaging in between because I am not able to see anyone.
Ah, okay, okay, no worries.
Okay, so as we're talking about the first essential characteristics, which is on-demand self-service. Whenever you need any resource on the cloud, you can quickly provision those resources using the dashboard or the CLI or with the simple commands. Let's say you need 1,000 servers required for your big application. It is not possible to deploy those thousand servers manually, or you can't buy 1,000 servers for your application and then give back to the shop from wherever you bought those resources. So instead of that, we can provision those resources on the cloud. Uh, Maybe it can be server, it can be hard disk or the network storage, anything. Cloud providers have made it very simple with the different providers like the Terraform or the Cloud Formation or the CLI commands. It has made it very simple. So there is very chance that human intervention errors will be there. Uh, with the simple commands, you can provision thousands of or the lakhs of resources very easily, and within the seconds you will get all those resources. Broad network, the second characteristics is a broad network address. What does it mean? The cloud providers and all those resources are available over the network, and you can access these resources by any mechanism, unless and until you're following the standard mechanism. You can use the SSH, you can use the HTTP, and you can use it from any device. You can use mobile to access your cloud resources. You can use tablets. You can use laptops. Any devices which have the proper internet connection should be able to access cloud resources using the internet. The third important characteristics is a resource pooling. So the cloud providers provide the computing resources which are provided or deployed for the multiple consumers. There is no um, separate entity or the resources deployed for the different tenants or the customers. The resources are deployed similarly. They are deployed at various edge locations all over the world, and based on the sense of location um, which is near to you, you will get the resources from that location. Or if you need resources maybe from US region or London region, you can select uh, those regions and you will get the resources from there also. Yeah. So the fourth characteristics, which is very important, is the rapid elasticity. It is very similar to scalability. Capabilities can be elastically provisioned and released, in some cases automatically. So let's take an example of Amazon website. You know, during holiday season or any festival, Amazon gets lots of requests, or Hotstar or the Geo platform, Geo TV, when the IPL is going on, or the it's MI versus CSK, you will see the 2.2 crore. We saw that, right? 2.2 crore people were watching on the Geo platform. How it is possible to um, stream the same content to 2.2 crore people? So all those applications, Geo platform is deployed on the cloud platform. And just imagine whenever the match ends, the count goes to zero or maybe 1 lakh from the 2.2 crore. That's a huge drop between the high peak and the low, right? So the cloud is very smart. If you are using automatic provision or the auto scalability features, whenever you need the high resources, the more resources, it will automatically scale up the resources which are required, maybe network, servers, hard disk, or the storage, etc. And whenever the traffic goes down, it will automatically scale down all those resources. This is in case if you are choosing for the auto scaling capability. But you can also provision the resources as per your requirement. You can scale up whenever you see the high traffic for your application. In case of Amazon, when there is a festival season, they can provision more resources based on their analysis. And whenever the festival season is over, they can scale down the resources. Um, yeah, so that is what we call a rapid elasticity, which okay, and the last one is a measured service. Cloud system automatically control and optimize resource usage and by leveraging the metering capability at some level of abstraction. So what does it mean? It will charge only for the usage of the resources. If you're not using those resources, it will not charge for that. They also provide the different services like cost calculator or different cost estimation or the suggestions kind of services where you can see how much resource you are using. You can see if you are not using the 100% of the provision hard disk or the memory, you can scale down or reduce the storage. So you will not get charged for the resource which you are not using. But if you have those resources provisioned, you will get charged. Yes, so there are cloud providers use the metering capability to charge you for the usage of the resources you are doing, and they have very transparency between the billing, so you can see always see the how much usage you are doing for any particular resources. You can see for any particular month or the year how much cost you what is the cost for the resource usage. If you need to optimize, they will also give you suggestions. So that kind of transparency is there with the cloud providers. uh, yeah, so the next main topic is the cloud models. um, Public cloud, private cloud, multi-cloud, and the
Okay.
hybrid cloud. Okay, so I hope you guys have heard about these public clouds: AWS, Amazon Web Services,
Yes.
Microsoft Azure, and the Google Cloud Platform (GCP). And whenever we use the multiple public clouds with the in combination with the private cloud, it becomes a hybrid. We are going to see when to use which cloud model. We'll start with the private cloud model. So private cloud is we can say it's a natural evaluation from a corporate data center. So in the even before these cloud providers was in exist, people or the companies, corporate were using data centers. They used to have the rack of resources, servers provisioned, or they have them into their companies, and whenever they need it, they need the extra services. They used to buy the new servers, and whenever the usage is over, they used to give it back to the provider. So that's where the private cloud actually started. Before this internet and the cloud was not exist or just blooming. We can say the cloud providers in private cloud, the provider or the consumer will have the greater control for the company and its deployment or the resources. The security aspect, from the security aspect, it's the responsibility of the cloud consumer. We are going to see the difference of the private cloud and the public cloud. Yes. The next one is a public cloud. So the major public cloud providers are the AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud, which are very well-known cloud providers. There are so many, maybe Alibaba, OpenStack, and VMware Cloud is also there. Uh, okay, so public cloud is built and controlled and maintained by the third-party cloud providers. So you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. You don't worry how to about the security and the anything about underlying infrastructure and all those resources. Right? You just need to purchase the cloud services for using maybe the dashboard or the CLI command, and you will get the resources very quickly. Okay, so the next one is a hybrid cloud. There is very thin line between the hybrid cloud and the hybrid environment where people gets confused. So a hybrid cloud is nothing but the computing environment where you use the both public cloud and the private cloud in interconnection for few services or some part of your application or this. For some customers, you need a public cloud services, and some of the customers will use the private cloud providers. Uh, so, who are the private cloud, or what are the services available in each of these cloud providers for the public cloud? Sorry, private cloud. So, AWS provides the Azure, and the Google provides the Anthos, and the Azure provides the um, Azure private cloud. So these are also services which are provided by these major cloud providers. Now, going back to the hybrid cloud, whenever you use the services of the public cloud like AWS and its private cloud service like AWS Outpost, that becomes a hybrid cloud. And what's a hybrid environment? When you have the servers deployed or the provisioned into your company, which are not actually on the any cloud provider, uh, and also you are using the public or the private cloud resources, that becomes a hybrid environment. Hybrid cloud basically we use for the extra layer of security. For example, some banks, they don't want to use the public cloud resources for some reason. They don't feel very confident about the security. So in that case, the company which are providing the service, they can use the private cloud services in along with the interconnection with the public cloud services. So for the security, depends on the governance of that country or something, right? The last cloud provider, the which is how which has become the popular choice for multiple companies and the common scenario nowadays we are seeing. So many companies have started using the multiple public cloud providers because of different features, because of different costs provided for the same services by the different cloud providers. Uh, yes. So just to summarize, what's the key difference between the public cloud, private cloud, and the hybrid cloud? In the public cloud, no capital expenditure to scale up, and in the private cloud, organizations have the complete control over resource and the security. So in basically, you don't need to worry about the provision resources and the security in public cloud. The cloud provider will take care of it. Let's say you don't need to worry about the scaling up and the down. Cloud provider is going to take care of that. Yeah, you just need to tell the cloud provider, okay, I need 1,000 machines for my application, and it's their responsibility. They have done proper setup that you are going to get 1,000 servers. Okay, the next one is in public cloud, application can be quickly provisioned and they deprovision. Um, because private cloud resources are on the, let's say, on the AWS outpost, those are the data and the security is depends on the consumer. The data and the security, the it's a responsibility of the organization and the consumers. So yeah, you need to worry about the how your application is secure, how data is going to be secure, how the resources are going to scale up or down, all these things. Okay. Uh, and in public cloud, organizations pay only for what they use. And in private cloud, you basically tell the private cloud providers, maybe AWS Outpost, that I'm going to need 1 TB of 100 TB of hard disk, or maybe some resources or some service servers which I'm going to use for longer time, and you purchase them in advance, and then you implement the security, all those things. Uh, then the last point is organizations in public cloud organizations don't have complete control over the resources and the security because it's already taken care by the public cloud providers. And in private cloud, the hardware maintenance, the upgrade of resources, and the scaling capabilities, all those needs to be taken care by the consumers. I hope this helps to understand the difference between these cloud providers.
Yes, it does. It does. Just to sum it up, like in a nutshell, if a 5 year old, or if like not 5 year old, but like if someone who has no idea about the cloud or anything, if if we need to tell them what is cloud, so it's going to be like something. A cloud is basically a machine which is stored on a remote location, of a server basically on a remote location, which we can access like remotely from any part of the world. And they have like different variants, as you mentioned, like public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Like private cloud is the one that I have to purchase the hardware, and I have to bear all the cost in order to like however amount of data I'm going to store for that. So I have to purchase the hardware before even starting working with it. But in terms of the public cloud, we have one thing called elasticity. Like it can automatically scale up and scale down as uh, as required.
Correct.
And the hardware cloud is for someone who has already like on premises. They do have some data, and they are also wanna have the flexibility of expanding quickly.
Yes, correct. Um, that's correct. So hybrid cloud people or the company can use when they need an extra level of security. And so what happens? Many companies or your customers don't allow you to use the public cloud services because of the past incidents happened with the public cloud, maybe outages or the security breaches. Because of that, they goes with the private cloud services. And in the hybrid cloud, some part of your application can be deployed in the public cloud, and wherever you need an extra level of security, where you can control the upgrades, security, the control over the your data, you can use the private cloud resources.
Yes, and it also like sometimes works that like if your application or the server is also interacting with the another part of the world, so having a server in that uh, area also kind of increase your response time for the application if you host locally there, rather than storing it on premises and everyone has to connect here.
Correct.
So yeah, as for like we do have some couple of questions, like such as start with the basic one. Suraj Thakur asked like, what is the pre-requirement before even we start cloud?
Sure. Can we take all the questions in there? I just need to cover few slides.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Just two topics remaining: service models and the deployment models. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that will help to understand how these services are provisioned, or who is responsible for what part of your application or the service. So whenever we deploy application, there are so many components involved in between. So facilities of the, maybe the infrastructure or the building to store your servers or the hard disk, the infrastructure and the servers, maybe laptops, hardwares, um, and then virtualization, operating system. If you are deploying application in container environment, the runtime, Node.js, Python, the data required for your application, secrets, config maps, and the application. So there are these three main service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and the software as a service. In case of infrastructure as a service, the responsibility of the consumer starts from the everything above uh, operating system is a responsibility of the consumer. You don't need to worry about where your server is running. You don't need to worry about if it is updated or not, or how your memory is going to scale, or the CPU or your servers are going to scale. The responsibility of all those is given to the or taken care by the cloud provider. Uh, okay, so let's go directly to infrastructure as a service. Uh, yeah, so the basic category where you rent IT infrastructure, like maybe the servers, virtual machines, storage, networks, operating system, all those comes into infrastructure. Uh, okay, and you only pay for whatever you are using. So irrespective of how those resources are stored, wherever where they are stored, you don't need to worry about that. You're just going to use the servers. In platform as a service, you get a platform directly to host your application, web application. Maybe if you have heard about the Heroku or any cloud service where we get a platform, maybe Lambda or something, where the entire infrastructure is set up and virtual machine or the environment, whatever is required, Python. If you need a Python environment, you will get a Python environment in a platform. You just need to deploy your application on that platform, and that's done. The cloud provider will take care of the security, underlying infrastructure, server, storage, networks, everything. The last one is the software as a service. We daily use this Google Drive or this Microsoft Team application. But the underlying infrastructure where this application is hosted is managed by the cloud provider. We don't need to worry about, we actually don't worry about how these applications are running or where these applications are stored. If uh, if those applications have the proper infrastructure setup or not. We only use these services or the software, right, over the internet. So these are the few examples of the software as a service. To learn about cloud computing, each cloud providers have the proper training. So you can note down, I'll share this PPT with you. For Google Cloud, you can go to this link. This is the Microsoft Azure training. AWS also provides the cloud training. I'm going to talk a little bit about my initiative, Get Fit with Sagar. And there are some resources which are created specifically for the students, where you can finish the training at the end you will get the voucher to do your cloud certifications. Uh, okay, so I kept this part in the end because I wanted to cover all these topics first and then talk about me. So I come from a farming background before, and I have a farming background. I give lots of talks across India and online. So I've been doing or sharing my knowledge through different events and meetups. You can see all these pictures and some awards. I go to colleges and small schools to share knowledge, or they get share my knowledge about the cloud computing or anything basic, even computers, teaching computers to students. So yeah, how I've been balancing between my interest related to open source, giving talks, and the office work. It's a priority. I keep on learning new things, and decide how much time I need to give for open source and other work and to my office work. So I have received multiple awards from my current organization and previous organization, and also able to finish two certifications and also completed my open source journey with the CKAN and 𝗤𝗏𝗰𝗃𝗱𝗏𝗏 Foundation. Some of the testimonials for my work from my students and the mentors. These are the community links for my community, Docker Pune and CNC Pune. We organize and share talks, share learnings through talks um, for in monthly meetups. So you can join these meetup groups and the Slack channel to get updates. You can join with me on my LinkedIn, Twitter, and GitHub. I'll share this, and this is just a meme, just for fun. So, okay. And now I'm done with my presentation. You can shoot your queries. Hello, am I audible? Or you lost?
You are audible. You are audible.
Okay.
That was a really great presentation. Like there are many things that I wanted to ask, like, but you already did covered before even me asking that. And at the last, like I liked it, 𝗤𝗏𝗰𝗃𝗱𝗏𝗏, but like now you can't go. We do have questions right now for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like someone asked, what are the prerequisites? Like someone who is not from the computing background, like who doesn't know networking much. So where should he start? Where should he start? Or where did you start it? Like what was your journey? How did you start it?
Okay. So I started with these links only. So I believe in free learning. I read lots of blogs. These resources, these are free resources. You can follow these resources. Google Cloud Training, the Microsoft Training, AWS Training. They have proper learning, learning paths. You can follow those. But if you are being inconsistent, or don't, if you find it very hard to follow the training parts or follow the tutorials, I have my online paid training going on. I have started with my initiative Get Fit with Sagar, where I'll be teaching lots of things about the cloud computing, DevOps, and SRE from scratch. This is the training to share my knowledge with the wider audience. uh, I hope. Okay, so this is a link where you can go, and I've kept the minimal fees because lots of students were interested in the this program. Yeah, so if you need a mentor or someone who can walk you through all this path, then you can opt for this my program. And if you want free resources, I have already shared the link.
Yes, as well, like there are a lot of free resources already. If someone who truly is interested and do wanna go into this, like there are lots of free resources available. I remember like Microsoft, their own the Azure services, they do provide the certification and they also provide the learning pass, which is totally free
Yes.
on Microsoft Learn, I believe. The entire pass is totally free, and they also have events going on all the time where they, if you just participate in the event, they will give you a free coupon to get the certification done as well.
Actually, they stopped. They used to give a 100% voucher for Azure certification
Yeah,
if you attend a virtual training. But I think they reduced it to they started giving 50% voucher.
50%
But
voucher. Yeah.
yeah, if you are going for the Google Cloud certifications, you can complete their learning path, and at the end you'll get a free coupon, and you
Right.
can get a Google certification for 100% free.
So there are other resources available if someone who wants to. Now let's talk a bit more about this. There is a question like DevOps. So what is DevOps and how is it related to cloud computing?
I would say DevOps and cloud all goes. hand in hand. You need to know things about the cloud providers because it depends on your company as well. The DevOps services such as Cloud Code Commit or the Code Deploy, AWS services are available on the cloud providers. So you need to have the basic understanding of the AWS cloud providers, or most of the companies are moving into cloud. So you need to have the understanding of how these cloud providers are working, or what are the services they are providing, which services you should use, when to use, whether you should go for the self-hosted service or you can use the cloud provided managed services. So all those things, DevOps and the cloud are very related.
Hmm. Since you have like mentioned of the like a bit of the job role, I am also very much curious. Like, what exactly is the job? What does if you are like cloud computing engineer or cloud engineer, like what exactly is the job role you do?
I'm into SRE, but I'll say I work on lots of tools which are related to DevOps. I work on and follow the SRE practices and the DevOps practices in my daily work. But my product is entirely deployed on the cloud provider. We use Microsoft, Azure, AWS, GCP. Sometimes we use a private cloud. So all these three roles are combined or goes hand in hand in my role at least. So I use Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, some of the DevOps services from these cloud providers, and so having the knowledge of cloud, having the knowledge of developer is helping me a lot to work as a good SRE engineer.
Hi. So now that you have mentioned about Docker and Kubernetes services, like, can you talk a bit more about like what exactly is Docker? As far I know, like, I do have a basic understanding. Like, Docker is a virtualization that you use for a specific task, but like, what exactly it is?
Okay, in simple terms, we create some application, Node.js application or Python application,
Yes.
but you will find difficult the same application is running on your friend's machine or colleague's machine. Where and in company we work with lot of people. There is a testing team, there is a developer team, there is a platform team. So many teams are there, right? And their machine will have the different configurations. They might be using some different operating systems. Someone might be using MacBook or different version of Python or the Node.js. So it is very obvious that same application might not work in a different environment. So in case of Docker, it becomes very easy. You bundle your application, you bundle your binaries or whatever dependencies required to run your application in form of Docker image. You write a file and you provide that file or the Docker image to your friend, and the in Docker the same application will work on all kind of environment irrespective of the host machine, whatever, whether you are using MacBook, whether you are using Linux or Windows, same application Docker container will work on all kind of virtual machine, uh, or the operating system. And the second thing is, let's say you need a resource, 1,000 resources. So scaling up and down, auto scaling, all those becomes very when you use the Docker and Kubernetes. Um, in Kubernetes, and you get an environment to run your application within a seconds. Let's say I need a for one of my application I need Red Hat 10, and for other application I need Ubuntu some version. So I can't install operating system required for each application every time. You know how it is difficult to install operating system every time. It takes lots of time, at least 2 3 hours. But
Yes.
if you use the Docker, you can simply mention that, okay, I need a Red Hat 9 or 10, single instruction you need to put in a file, and you will get that environment within a seconds. That's improve the speed of deploying your application. So all those features and the Docker speed up your entire application deployment process very quickly and save a lot of resources.
I and then what is Kubernetes like? How is it different from the Docker?
Okay, Kubernetes is the orchestration platform. Um, so Docker provides all these features, but in Kubernetes, underlying as a container provider, you can use Docker only. Auto scaling uh, and then scalability, security for your application, all those comes into Kubernetes part.
Uh, Nothing. And when we're talking about like you have in detail you have mentioned about so but I can think of like software as a service would be something such as Microsoft, right? Microsoft Word would be the software as a service. What would be the example of the infrastructure as a service? Like uh, they provide their resources, such as like hardware, computer, and the storage machines and everything. So that would be going to be infrastructure as a service, or what?
Yes, correct. So you need a machine, Red Hat machine. So there are services. Virtual machine is a service in Azure or in EC2. You might have heard about the Elastic Compute service in AWS. You get a virtual machine to run your application. Those are infrastructure as a service. If you need any networking services or you need IP addresses or storage, those falls into infrastructure as a service.
Hi. And since in the industry, like there are too many things to choose from, even the like big competitor, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, even though the base core concept is the same for everything, but still they have a little differentiate among all those. So, what is the one that is used mostly in the industry?
AWS came first, so it is very popular now. Um, but again, it depends on architecture choice, which cloud provider you are going to use. Slowly, Google and GCP is also ramping up. So some of the for some of the projects, you will see the GCP as a preference because of high level of security, and it's not AWS versus GCP now. People and the company have started using multi-cloud providers. For some part of application, they will prefer virtual machines from AWS. For running using Kubernetes services, they might use the GK from Google Cloud Provider. So just in case for the extra high availability, if the cloud provider or the entire infrastructure of that cloud provider goes down or anything security breach happen, so we should have a backup plan. That's why mostly people are using multi-cloud for maybe cost saving, for the extra availability, security reasons. So yeah.
Aye. And since like there are too many things like the company uses all and they do have the core concept of the same, so the fundamentals are the same for everyone, although they do have a little difference. So if someone is starting to know the cloud architecture and starting getting the certification, which one do you recommend, like which one they should start with?
Certification for certification, if you want to go for a free, just a second. Okay. If you need a free certification, recently I have seen Google is providing free certifications if you complete the training learning part. So I would recommend go for that. Finish all the certifications. AWS also provides if you finish the complete the one certifications, you will get a 50% voucher for the next certification. There are multiple ways actually to get the free certifications. You can get it reimbursed from your company. So my company provides the reimbursement for all type of cloud certificate and the Kubernetes certificates. AWS also provides if you finish the complete
Hello.
your one certifications, you will get a 50% off for the next certification. There are multiple ways actually to get the free certification. You can get it
Yeah,
reimbursed
yeah,
from
you kind of
your
lagged in a
company.
bit.
So my company provides the reimbursement for all sorry about that. Yeah. So for the Google certifications, it is becoming popular. Um, yeah, and you can do it. You can complete the Google certifications for free if you finish the learning path.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's like if someone wants to, they can go for the free. Now, since we're talking about the certification, like I really truly want to ask, like, how does the certification of this, having a certification, does really matter for getting a job?
Oh, not only certifications. I did certification to learn, to be a consistent, because when I'm not doing anything, waste my time. Okay, so I wanted to use my time effectively. I wanted to be very consistent. I wanted to learn new things. When you go for certifications, you will learn a lot of things on the way. Whenever you are doing the certification learning about that cloud provider, what's their drawbacks, what their features, what are the new things they are adding, what are the new services are coming up, and the alternate services. When you have all that knowledge, you can implement that into your current project, or you can use that for betterment of in your job as well. So yes, having the certification really helps, but people use the dumps as well, or some kind of tricks to get a certification. Unless and until you have very strong knowledge about that cloud certification, and you have prepared on your own, then only it matters. You should also do side projects as well. Whatever you learn, you should also able to implement, or you should be able to explain that to the next person whenever there is a chance to use that knowledge in your project. You should be able to use that. Otherwise, no value for that certification.
Hi. And since we're talking about the project, like as someone is a software engineer, they tend to make up projects of like having a website or making an app for different platforms. Like as a cloud computer or a network engineer, what kind of projects would you make, or what kind of projects is there that they can possibly work upon?
I would say just look around yourself. What problems you're seeing? It can be very simple, but it depends on how you're implementing the solution. You should be able to use your knowledge. You should be able to use the latest technology into your current project. Even even if you are implementing library management, but things out of the box, how you can make it smart. You can take a existing topic, but you should be able to provide the something new into that project. Then only it matters. If you should not just clone or read copy paste someone else's project. You should be able to add something new into that project. You should be learn something new and add. Yeah, that's what I'll say. So maybe you will see some lag while using video tools, video conferencing tool. Is it possible that you can make it more smart? Is it possible that you can make the software streaming very smooth? Now, just see around yourself and see what are the problems you are facing on the daily basis, or you can ask people around yourself and create the project for that. Find the
Uh,
real time project or the use case.
so everything is like around you, and you just have to think smarter. I really like the idea of like making the example you gave for such a video streaming platform. So we are using Teams, really buggy. they do have a lot of network lag we can possibly work on. Yeah, so it is a great example of the working on a cloud computing project. Like, yeah, these are the kind of the projects people can work upon. And now let's talk about, like, there is one more question. Now, since everything is going on cloud, everything is like getting virtualization. So, what is the future of cloud? What do you think?
Oh, cloud is not. I don't see any for the cloud right now. It is booming and it will be blooming in the future also. Yeah. So the future is, I'll say, keep on learning cloud. It's not going to end, in your future. I don't see beyond technologies, machine learning, everything, all those services are provided by cloud. So the cloud is not going to end. The future is bright for the cloud.
Saga, you're lagging a bit, but hello.
Okay. Hello. Sorry, I'm facing some network issue. Am
Yeah,
I
yeah,
audible?
exactly the kind of thing that we are talking about. This is need to be fixed. Someone can implement that as a project.
Yeah,
Of course.
correct. Yes, so I was talking about the future for the cloud computing. Uh, yes, so if you see the latest technologies, maybe machine learning, AI, the DevOps, all those services are provided by the cloud also. You will see all those services are available in the cloud. So anything coming up is going to be there in a cloud. So cloud is not going to end. If you are thinking about moving to the IT, I think cloud is a good choice.
Hmm. And
One more
there's
point
going to
I
be
just
like,
wanted to add.
yeah, yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
I wanted to add is don't worry about any cloud provider, whether you should learn GCP, AWS, or the Azure, unless and until you understand the cloud basics or the services in one of the cloud, the how you can automate or use the cloud services of any cloud. You should be able to learn the cloud services in the other cloud providers because the service names are different. Maybe little the configurations and few things are different, but the basic features are the same in all cloud providers. The only the namings are different.
I So the core concept is like the fundamental core concept is same for everyone. So no matter what you pick up,
Correct.
eventually you're gonna learn all the things which are necessary is gonna be the same. Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Now there's gonna be like one last question. When you're learning cloud computing, when you are going in this path, like what are the common challenges that most people are gonna face, and what were the common challenges that you faced?
I feel lack of consistency. In the beginning, I was facing difficulty to follow the free resources because whenever it is free, people don't value, or it's very
Yes.
hard to follow the when you don't have the mentor or YouTube videos. They are scattered everywhere. You need a proper learning path. So if you are going to learn cloud computing or any technology, you should the proper focus and the everything should be the proper learning path should be there and stick on that path only. You don't need to look for the different resources, multiple resources. Then you will keep on jumping and you will end up uh, doing nothing. So instead of that, you should learn one thing and try to implement try to do POC around that. That's what I've been doing, and that's the thing we are going to follow in my initiative. Learn one point and then implement it immediately, and then revise it after some time because cloud DevOps is very vast. It's a sea of tools, we can say. So if you don't revise the concepts, if you don't keep on practicing, you will forget all these things after some time. So it needs a brush up of after every week or month. Yeah.
I Yeah, that's sort of like eventually you have if you're starting something, you immediately have to implement it. So you will have the like a real life understanding of like how the concepts are actually working, and also at the same time you have to constantly revise it. So in order to you not get forget because there are so many concepts in it, cloud. Yeah, I think that that's it for today. Like it was a really wonderful session, and you explained the things of the fundamentals of the cloud computing really well. We are so much thankful you have as a guest, and thank you very much for coming to our show. And thank you very much for telling everyone
Thank you.
about the cloud computing and the basic concepts of clearing their doubts and answering their questions as well. Um, if you wanna like, I want you to share your page again of your social media link. So if anyone do have questions, they can contact you there. So yeah, on YouTube, if anyone do have any questions regarding the cloud computing or want to have some links or the path, you can go and follow the resources. Sagar also has his website, Get Fit with Sagar. You can go there and follow the path as well, which is like predetermined and pre-made as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the social media links. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or GitHub, and
Okay.
I'll be happy to help you or anyone in future.
Okay.
You have any
Thank you very
question?
much, Sagar again. Thank you very much for coming here. And for as for the viewers, you can subscribe to the package and you can contact Sagar directly on his LinkedIn or social media page. And thank you very much for watching us. Yeah. Now we can leave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sagar. Bye.